Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kino Corner, KinoKast, episode number 4. Currently in lockdown. Uh, going crazy from the quarantine. Here, I'll take off my N95 mask now that's not really funny anymore.
Yeah, I had to unzip out of the hazmat suit for this one too. So
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about we're going to be talking about Happy Madison films, in particular, taking classic films or generally good films and giving them the Happy Madison makeover, making them definitely better movies. By having
like
them start
Uncut Gem.
like uncut gems, done as a Happy Madison production. And
Yeah.
but first I do want to but first before we get everybody in the stream, I want to start talking about just kind of going off of my video from yesterday that I released about long takes in 1917, and I wanted to go a little bit more in depth. And Andrew, you're here to sort of help me with this. I think that everyone just dropped off of the stream.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah,
They'll come back.
Yeah, that's fine. So I wanted to go a little bit more in depth with 1917 because I know a lot of people on my channel really love it. And I wasn't going to make a video on 1917, and I wouldn't even call my video that I put out yesterday really about 1917. Would you agree? It's not really about 1917. It gets around to, like, I use it as an example. But it's really about movies as one take. And
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
And I think people there is this sort of weird thing going on where people think that because something is done in one take, it's objectively good. And my response to that is, then why was editing invented, and why do people think that? I don't know.
yeah. Well, I think that it's for one, I have a lot of things to say about this. I just couldn't fit into 14 minutes, in the video. I think that with 1917, it looking like one take was sort of a band-aid to a lot of its problems. That now the discourse surrounding 1917 is all about how it was done in one take, which it wasn't. As I said in the video, the longest take in there was 8 minutes. And they don't actually hide the cuts that well in 1917. Like, I was able to see the points in which they cut. I was like, oh, they cut here. Oh, they cut here.
Definitely.
So Bryce C says, even Belatar hates this oneer shot that directors insert in films without a greater pattern or design. I agree. I totally agree with Belatar. Now, there is a difference to... Now, here is something about a oneer shot that I didn't bring up in the video, and it was really just for lack of time. Making a 14-minute video takes a long time. In one of my normal 8-minute videos takes at least 40 hours of work. So this 14-minute video was even more than that. It wasn't exponentially more than that, but it was significantly more than that. So just some things I just did not have the time to put in. And there is another reason that directors use these long takes, and that is lack of a budget. So, hey, Evan joined. Hey, Evan, how's it going?
Yeah.
So
Going pretty well.
So, like in Clerks, so in Kevin Smith's movies Clerks, there are several shots that go on for a very long time, and it's not because Kevin Smith was like, I'm going to be artsy. Because when has Kevin Smith really ever been artsy? I guess Chasing Amy was the closest he ever got to being artsy, but even still, no. It's because he didn't have. It's because he didn't have the money for film to shoot coverage. So you do it in one shot. I mean, we did that on Wasted Hours. There's a lot of scenes in Wasted Hours that are just like one shot, but it wasn't because we were like, we're gonna be the most artistic people and blah blah blah. It's gonna be one shot and it's gonna be beautiful. No, it was because we were like, we only have one roll of film left, and so we either get this in one shot or we don't get this at all.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that idea of, well, what does this one shot do for the film as a whole is basically the answer we're trying to get at here. And if you just have a one shot in a movie just to have a one shot, is it Kino? No,
yeah,
it is not Kino.
There's plenty of wonders that aren't Kino. I mean, I think what has happened, and it's really been since Birdman, because there were plenty of movies that were done as one shot before Birdman, but Birdman was the first really big movie. Now you could argue Russian Ark, and Russian Ark was a big film, but was it big in America? No, it was big in the art houses and stuff, but it wasn't mainstream like Birdman.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that something close to that is kind of like Children of Men, because it's not one shot, but it has a lot of long takes.
Yeah,
that's its thing.
And the big long take near the end, it was actually stitched together, and that was shot on film. And with something, because I didn't want to get too technical in the video, because a lot of this stuff will just fly over people's heads. But in Birdman and in Children of Men, how they do this digital stitching is, in Premiere Pro or in Avid or whatever, these kind of modern nonlinear editing programs. You can reframe. So because you can sort of reframe shots, in post-production, you can have things flow smoother. And what you can also do, is you can color correct very certain things, or expose or re-expose faces and stuff like that. So that allows them to give this illusion that the lighting is always the same, to give the illusion that it's one shot, because you have to think it's not just about the camera and the camera placement, the frame placement. It's also about the lighting, that is going to shift no matter what. Even if even if it's under a very similar light, if you shoot it the next take, even 5 minutes later, the lighting is going to be a little bit different. So you have to adjust the colors and the lights in post as well. You couldn't really do that back in the 20th century, but you can do that now. Has that led to better films? I don't think so. I
think it's led to a world of and this may be just postmodernism, but it's led to a world where people think they're being artful when really they're just kind of imitating people who've already done it better than them.
Yeah, and that was my point, comparing Birdman to 1917, is that with Birdman, it felt very deliberate, considering it's in theater, and it feels like the one shot is an expression of this film is about theater, and it being in one shot, and really almost always being with Reagan, and almost always being with Reagan, you really feel his deteriorating mental state. Now with 1917, it didn't seem like there was much of a purpose, and it does follow. And I bring this up near the end of the video. It does follow almost a similar pattern or similar sort of story structure to Apocalypse Now, but without any of the weight. Because there are stations. He has to, and the stations are literally like celebrities. Colin Firth is the person that gives him the orders, right? And then it's Andrew Scott, and then it's Mark Strong, and then it's finally Benedict tennis match. And but it's not like he's going into the heart of darkness. It's not like he's discovering something along the way. There's no self-discovery in the film.
Hello?
Hey.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, Cumby.
Oh, no.
Cumby.
We got you finally showed up, dude. We got BG Cumby in the chat. Big gangsta come.
Big gangsta come.
Hey Andrew, can you
Hey Cumby.
Here, I'm gonna just tweet out. I'm gonna tweet the stream out here.
Well, I can't stay for long. I'm at Chick-fil-A.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
So Big Gangsta Come. What would be your favorite movie to be remade with Adam Sandler as the star?
Well, you know what my favorite movie of all time is?
Lord of the Rings?
No.
What is it?
Forrest Gump.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
I really identify with Forrest Gump. You know, it's about a mentally impaired Southern man just trying to make it in life.
I want to see Kevin James as Lieutenant Dan. That'd be great.
Who would Rob Schneider be though? Like we have to think who
by the way.
He could be.
It's David.
He could be Lieutenant Dan though.
We got to think Rob Schneider.
Buy us Home Depot, Pop. It's Saturday.
Rob Schneider, Adam Sandler, Kevin James, David Spade, sometimes Chris Rock, Terry. What's his name? Terry Crews. Yeah, we gotta think where to put these people. You know what could happen is, Kathy Bates would be his mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kathy Bates would be.
Okay, but who's Drew Barrymore gonna be though?
Drew Barrymore is gonna be Jenna.
Jenna, yeah, Jenna.
Jenna. Mom said I can't hang out with you, Jenna. No, Adam Sandler would definitely be Forrest.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
He would do it. He would do his little Nicky voice.
Oh,
Forrest Gump, probably.
Terry Crews would be Bubba.
Yeah, I was about to say he would be Bubba Gump.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, they might actually like steal this stream from us and make this movie now. Like people would go watch that.
Imagine like Terry Crews' intensity of talking about all the ways you can cook shrimp. Like,
I honestly thought like Cumby was gonna say Schindler's List or something.
Peter, Andrew, when's the next time we're hanging out?
Oh man, dude! When this quarantine lets up.
Yeah, when this lockdown is over, dude. Hey, so we have to shoot that thing that we were talking about.
The Western.
Oh, the sequel to
that
right?
and remember that fake documentary that we were talking about?
Oh, the fake documentary about Cumby's Fox News interview.
Yeah.
And then the follow-up to my short film, Upscale Dinner Party. So.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Hey, Cumby and Andrew, would you guys be down for... Are you guys going to be free tomorrow or Monday afternoon, just like online?
Yeah, there isn't much else to do.
Yeah. I was thinking...
Easter's tomorrow, right? Like.
Oh, yeah. Well, we won't do it tomorrow, but like... we won't do it tomorrow then, but like Monday or Tuesday, I was thinking of doing... of us recording like a commentary track for Upscale Dinner Party to put on my channel.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, yes.
Dude,
that sounds great.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we just...
I'm not in the loop. What is this? What is Upscale Dinner Party?
Oh, it's a short film that Cumby, Andrew, and I made about this time last year, actually.
Yeah, it was my thesis film at Alabama.
Yeah.
And, okay. It was Kino.
I play the bad guy in it.
Oh,
it was indeed Kino.
Although, you know what? I would say it falls just short of Kino because we had that fucking dude, Laquan, doing sound, whatever his name was.
Laquan.
I can't say his name because he's my friend.
Deshaun. I don't know. It was something.
Nope, not saying it.
What's his name?
I'm not saying it.
No, what's his name? Sigmar?
If you're listening, LaShwanda, you know I love you.
No, but that dude, he like has the boom mic. He's pointing it away from the actors, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, how do you think a mic works?
Oh my god.
No.
So I directed it. I put Peter as the murderer in it, and Cumby is hosting it, and it's a part of the Cumbyverse. And
nice.
Yeah, it's a part of the Cumbyverse, and we have another one, and that's part of the reason I'm trying to get like a lot of subs, is so I can finally get a sponsorship, and we can make the third in the trilogy, or no, the second. Although this is the third in the manual trilogy, because there's another one that I made several years ago. So this will be the third. Yeah.
You should do a collaboration with Spike Bottle.
Oh god.
Oh, I'm also in the movie.
Peter.
Yeah, what's up?
That sounds like a great idea. We should do that.
Yeah,
we will. It's already written.
Yeah, dude, that's why I'm trying to I'm really pumping out videos right now.
Wait, the commentary's written?
No, The commentaries.
Yeah, I was about to say, why are we doing a pre-written commentary?
No, what I was just gonna do is get us in like OBS, and like having us all watch it together.
Oh
and
yeah.
Recording our audio track and just uploading, like us just talking about each scene and like funny stories behind each thing. I think that. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. Sadly, my film that we made did not make it into the Black Warrior Film Festival. But you know what? We're YouTube famous, so everybody at UA better listen up. Tune in.
Yeah, no, I think we should do that. So yeah, guys, expect that. I'm trying to do videos where I'm like doing commentary on like music videos and short films. Oh, I'm coming out with another music video soon. Gonna be doing the music videos for the final music videos for Wasted Hours for Jimbo's music. So I'll be doing that.
Hey, just message me about it. I'm about to walk into Walmart here, so I'm gonna have to let y'all go.
Cumby not locking himself down, not social distancing.
I'm stocking up for quarantine.
Cumby's gonna bull up on the coronavirus. He's
getting that protein powder to make it through.
All right, well, I'll see y'all later.
All right, see you,
man.
All right.
See you, come.
But anyway,
that was great.
But anyways, so getting back to like long takes in movies after the digression.
And see, that's the problem with long takes, right? Is it diverse conversation that was happening before in this long tangent? We don't even know what we're talking about now. Welcome to the long take meta hour.
Yeah, well, here's kind of like, where it comes down to, I think if a long take is good or not is if it really makes sense for the story. If it makes sense for the way that the director is telling the story. And if I'm going to be honest, I'd rather have a film made up of a lot of long takes than a film be like one long take. Because when it's one long take, all the discourse around it is going to be, oh, it was done as one take. And it's like, who cares?
Right.
You say that it's one take just so you can put it on the poster.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing.
But I'd rather have like a Tarkovsky film or a Bela Tarr film where like the takes are really long, but it's not like it's trying to be one long take, and it makes sense why the director is shooting it this way. And Bryce C, he says, and it's not to yuck yum, but that people watch the Goodfellas winner and then think it's brilliant by proxy, and it was a shot from necessity. Yeah, and that's another thing that people really need to sort of understand is that I know that some people are like the whole every frame a painting sort of deal.
Cringe.
Yeah,
cringe.
Very cringe.
Film sucks. Everybody knows that.
I hate movies. but there's a lot, like in a lot of movies, shots are really there's a lot of shots out of necessity. And you can still have that be artistic. Like you can still make art, right, from necessitated shots. But the thing is that not every shot is meant to be like super artistic. Not every shot is like, there's so many things that go into setting up one shot but whatever. And when you have it as one take, not being able to edit, not being able to have a diversity of shots, not being able to have really a diversity of locations, because in a diversity of time. Like there are certain,
because it has to be in real time.
Yeah, it has to be in real time unless you figure out something like Birdman does this thing where like you look at the sky and then it's like the sun goes down or then the moon comes up and the sun comes back up or whatever.
It does like match cuts.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, and 1917 did this. 1917 skipped ahead in time in two places.
Yeah.
And
like the part where he falls asleep.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that shot because that shot really pissed me off, that scene. So if he got hit in the head with a bullet, right, or his helmet did, and it knocked him out, how long was he out for? Like like 12 hours. I mean, how much brain damage would he have? You know,
right? You have a
I
great
don't know. I
point
don't know
there.
if he was out for 12 hours.
No, but if you're out for more than a few seconds from being knocked out, you're getting severe brain damage. Like
That is true.
That's how it works, and he's out for
he
several.
just like goes on to like fucking jump off waterfalls and shit.
Oh, that's
well, and also
he's not even affected.
You brought up a really good point, I saw, Evan, when you said that people put it on the poster. I mean, it seems that now it has become a selling point.
Yeah,
exactly.
For movies to have long takes. So
to like bring in the whole like art house film crowd because it was shot in one take.
It was shot in one take. Yeah, no, but
you can't criticize it if it's
because like I've done really impressive long takes before in terms of like the scope of what we had to do. I'm talking stunts, I'm talking explosions, and it feels good for the actors. But when you watch it all the way through, it really has, like Peter said, it has to make sense in the long run why that long take is in there, or else it feels like you're just kind of virtue signaling in the sense that this is higher film. Because we're using the long take technique.
Another thing about the long take is that when you have the camera, when you have it as a long take, that bars you from a lot of different kinds of shots.
Yes,
right. It bars you from the shot reverse shot, which is like
Well, and close-ups, which are your money.
I mean, because I think that they used a 24 millimeter lens for 1917, which is a very wide. Which is a very wide lens. Knowing it'll work in the edit is more abstract. So Bryce C says Ari Aster said he preferred long takes for that reason. You know if you've got it. Knowing it'll work in the edit is more abstract. Yeah, and there is, of all people, the person with the best advice as far as doing long takes is Steven Spielberg, because Spielberg always.
Really?
Yeah, so Spielberg in almost all of his films will have a oneer. It's kind of like a trademark for him at this point. Is he always has one shot that's a sequence shot, and a sequence shot meaning it's not like he's shooting a whole like bunch of scenes, but it's like he's taking several different shots and he's putting it into one shot, but he's still shooting it like it's all these different shots, like how he would edit it, but he's moving the camera around to change the framing.
Kind of like the airplane sequence in Raiders.
Yeah, and also the drinking sequence, the drinking game, does the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, what Steven Spielberg says is shoot your oneer, but always shoot some inserts. So always have a few inserts surrounding the oneer because you don't know if it's going to work in the edit. You don't know if it's going to work from a technical perspective where maybe something went wrong and you need to have an insert to sort of cover it up. And you also don't know if it's going to work from an artistic perspective where maybe having this thing as a long take slows the pacing down a bit too much for your liking.
Well, and isn't that what made like Midsummer suffer, is the fact that there were so many long takes and it, I mean, in my opinion, like that film would have benefited from more intercutting.
I think
that in fact the best scenes from those movies are like the cutbacks with like the girl like flashing like with the throw up around her and the mask on and all that, and then cutting to like the extreme violence for a second, and then it cuts back, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The long takes in that movie make it feel like a dream. I was just responding to Bryce with what he said. Like, I think you're right. Like, a lot of the reason we watch film is for the emotional impact, and like when you only use long takes, you're losing the emotional impact and you're only focusing on the physical aspect of it. I mean, imagine if Coppola only worked in long takes, then you wouldn't have the Coppola close-up. You wouldn't have the iconic scenes from Apocalypse Now.
Right, because editing is like one of the main facets of film, and with long takes, you kind of deprive it of that, because it's not really edited.
Yeah, so here we have, don't you think the long cuts make the quick cuts stand out more or more impactful? If everything is quick cut, it loses its impact. It honestly depends. It depends upon the film. It depends upon the story being told. It depends upon the pacing. So when you are making a film, you have to think about how you want it to be paced. And generally, you want to... Now, I talked about this in my video about Robert Bresson, where Bresson said that the thing that like separates film from the other art forms is the ability to create a rhythm within the edit. So it's about finding that internal rhythm to which you cut. And it just depends upon the movie. You know, like Tarkovsky has mostly long takes, but they're usually like a couple minutes long, sometimes less, sometimes like 30 seconds. But movies back then generally, you know, were like the average shot length was a bit longer. But let's take the movie Nostalgia. At the very end of it, you have like this 9.5 minute take of the main character walking with a candle across the sulfur pits. And the reason why that long take works is because everything in that film has led up to that take, and within this one shot, there's all like it's a culmination of all of the themes of the film. It works to constantly be with him and not to cut away from him. Bryce says, wait, how have we not mentioned Gaspar Noé? Yeah, Gaspar Noé is good.
Yeah,
I really liked Enter the Void. I almost brought that up in my video. So I was super close to talking about Enter the Void in my video, but it wouldn't have fit the narrative that I had going on in my video. And I know it sounds weird, but when I talk about how digital cameras really brought out like the whole one take film, it just wouldn't have fit in to talk about Enter the Void, because Enter the Void was shot on Super 35 and 16 millimeter, Super 16. Yeah. So it was shot on film. Yeah, and no, but I love. I haven't seen Climax yet. You know, Climax, and
I haven't seen Climax yet.
I haven't seen it either.
And what's the other film from last year? The Farewell. Those are the only two films from last year I think I haven't seen yet.
But if he's talking about that one scene from Irreversible, yeah, I mean the long take, yeah, it's pretty much the entire film.
It works. I like the way that Gaspar Noé uses the long takes.
We're not saying that you can't use the long take. We're just saying it's sort of headed towards this diaspora of film where like people think they're being artful by employing techniques. Yeah, and they're just doing it in a way that's not. It's a little disingenuous.
There's no heart behind it. There's no reason. There's no
exactly.
Soul. It's just doing it.
There's no soul. Doing it. Thank you, Evan. There's no soul.
Yeah,
and we're trying to bring the soul back to film. We're trying to bring the spirit back to it. Yeah, and we're gonna have to do that by causing a little discourse and a little disruption.
Yeah, all I ask for is for there to be a goal, a purpose behind the long take, other than marketing.
Right, because when you did Wasted Hours, like one of the biggest things is it feels like a home movie in a lot of ways. And so when you do a long take in that movie, it makes sense. But for 1917, it felt like a gimmick. It felt like, oh, I feel like I'm now a film person.
I think
you know what I mean? Like sort of that thing.
I think our longest shot in Wasted Hours was 3.5 minutes long.
Was it? It wasn't the opening, right?
No, it wasn't the opening. It was the when Jeremy is sitting on the back of the truck.
Oh, okay.
That's 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, because the camera's basically just stationary.
Yeah, and there was a reason. I mean, again, that was another thing out of necessity. We honestly, none of the other angles really worked. And I think we only had one roll of film. So we could only do about 3 or 4 takes, and only one take we were able to make it to the end, and then we ran out of film. So that's hence why it's one shot. But it kind of
and it has gotten easier to do long takes because we're in the digital world now. I mean, now you can just redo it. With film, you got money going through the gate.
High toilet paper. That's assuming that I want to shoot on digital. What am I, a pleb?
But I mean, like Nolan and all of the other, we would call them sort of in that diaspora film that we're talking about, like they also do the film and the digital feed.
Yeah,
However, the way we did
film
it was
school filmmakers.
the film school filmmaker.
I'm a no film school filmmaker. No, no film school is kind of cringe.
I think there's this spirit of collaboration that's sort of missing in film right now from people who enjoy it, in a sense of like,
right, because that's the fucking auteur, the rise of the auteur. That
everyone is
one
like
person who makes a movie,
everyone is trying to be Alfred Hitchcock when like there's already been an Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah,
like, we need new people coming out doing new things that are cutting edge.
There's a lot of people that they just want to be somebody who's already existed. They say, I want to be
Kubrick.
I was gonna say that. I'm gonna be the next Kubrick. I'm gonna be the next Robert Altman. I'm gonna be the next Federico Fellini. I'm gonna be the next Bergman. And it's like, don't be the next.
Well, the Illuminati is gonna kill you in your sleep. You would be the next Kubrick.
It's like, don't be the next anybody. Just be yourself. Find out.
Amen.
Like, now it's okay. It's good to like when you're starting off. It's great to try
influences.
It's great to try to emulate people. I emulated Wes Anderson. I emulated Linklater in my early stuff. I emulated a lot of my heroes, and what it led me to. Where it led me is that I was able to say, I really like this from Wes Anderson's style. I'm going to keep this, but I'm going to throw the rest away. I really like this from Linklater's style. I'm going to keep this, throw the rest away. I like this from Bresson, and I just kind of take, I take bits from people and I kind of incorporate that into my own style. But when I'm shooting something, when I'm on set, am I thinking, I want to get a shot like Kieślowski? I want to get a Tarkovsky shot. No, I'm not. I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking, okay, for one, I've already shot listed. Although I didn't shot list Wasted Hours at all. That was very sort of on the spot kind of filmmaking. That was very
You didn't shot list that?
No, I didn't shot list it at all. I refused.
And we didn't shot list Upscale Dinner Party either. We just kind of made the film.
I don't actually. So I work a lot differently than other people. I guess probably the person I work closest to when I'm on set is like Werner Herzog. In the way that I shoot things, I'm very sort of like, I want that spur of the moment creativity.
The thing is, I worked on Map of Tiny Perfect Things, which is going to be a Disney coming out soon, and they had a shot list, and even then, I mean, they're a multi-million-dollar set, and they're diverging from their shot list for that day because things change. Like to create such a rigid format around your filmmaking is kind of defeating the whole point. Bringing the camera out to begin with,
Now that's not saying that I don't go into a day knowing what shots we need to get. But when I shoot something, I know my script so well that I can be like, I even know in the edit, I can see it all in my head before we even shoot it. I say, we only need to shoot this person saying these lines and this kind of close up, and this person saying those lines and that kind of close up. And whatever, and we only need to shoot the master for this long and stuff like that, because I can already see the film in my head. So it's not like saying I go in there not having a clue what I want. I know exactly what I want. I don't have to write it down, and writing it down sometimes makes me feel like I'm a slave to it, rather than making me feel like I'm liberated. Now, for a short film that I may or may not end up doing, the DP was just like I'm not gonna do anything until I have like the most in detail shot list like ever made, and so I was kind of pissed off.
On Wasted Hours?
No, on a different thing that I haven't shot yet.
Okay, bad.
Yeah. So, anyways, I want to just kind of look at the chat for a second.
Were you the cinematographer for
No,
Wasted Hours, or did you have a DP?
That was Keaton.
Okay.
But
so was he ever frustrated with that? Like the whole spur of the moment thing? Like, did he already have like specific things worked out?
I mean, the amount of prep work we did, I know I make it sound like I just kind of show up on set and we figure everything out, but that wasn't really the case. He and I had actually, in the months leading up, scouted the locations together, came out with lighting maps of the locations beforehand, so that when we got to the set, we knew which light to put where. We're going to put a scrim here. Everything was, as far as from, because cinematography is lighting. The thing that
the hardest thing for Keaton though was working with film. I know that stressed him the hell out because, I mean, that's just money going through the gate. Like we said, like when you're an amateur or when you're indie filmmakers actually doing that type of thing, like the stakes get to be so much higher.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, that's what I noticed from my position on that set.
And so when I say that it was like I have a spur of the moment sort of way of working, maybe it's a little disingenuous because we did so much prep work, making like diagrams and doing previs and stuff like that beforehand. I just don't make a shot list. Like I'll do everything else but make a shot list because generally I want to get the feeling of the scene in the space. I want to get the feeling of the scene in the space before I determine how I'm going to shoot it. Because how I'm going to shoot it is also going to determine is also going to be impacted by the actor's chemistry. I want to get to see that. I want to get to feel it before I know exactly how I want to shoot it. That's the thing. I want to be able to see it in front of me, and then I can say, all right, we're going to shoot it like this. All right, sometimes I'm just like, all right, both these guys have great chemistry. I don't want to intercut. I want them both in the frame. I want to do a 2-shot because their chemistry just and their presence is so good, it would take away from doing it as a shot reverse shot. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's things like that. Like I want to be able to see, and maybe an actor isn't too great, and I have to come up with a way to shoot around them, to hide their weaknesses. And that does happen. Where an actor is definitely not on par with the other people around them, and you have to find a way just to shoot so that people won't notice them as much.
Yeah, and getting back to like long takes, is that the long take, like I said, is the hardest on the actors as a whole. So I think people praising the filmmaker all the time should really give that praise back to the actors, because you have to rehearse it, and then not only that, if it's a full shoot day, they're probably going to redo that 8-minute take
forever
6 to
forever.
12 times, until they get the one that's perfect. So, I mean, working on Ari Aster's set would probably, imagine what that's like. Yeah. Having to constantly do that. That's a different type of artistry.
Let's get to the chat. I just want to answer a few questions because I know this chat's kind of blowing up, which is a good thing. So Toilet Paper asks, what is the technical equipment you use? Well, I shoot on 16 millimeter film, and for wasted hours, we use the Ari Flex 416, which is Ari's kind of best super 16 millimeter film camera, and we used Zeiss Master Distagon lenses, which we only used one lens for the whole film, but that was a $17,000 lens that we rented, which was insane.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it's a great lens. It really sort of captured everything so well. Let's see. People are talking about, Bryce says, Western concepts of originality are so at odds with how art develops from communities, not auteurs and exclusion. I would agree to a point. I would say that there's definitely a lot that comes from personality. But with film, and that's what you get with painting and, and books and literature and stuff like that. With film has so many different working parts that maybe you can't say it's just one artist, but how I see it is that it's a very collaborative thing, but the auteur does get the credit because the auteur picks the other artists to be in the group because he knows these other artists, these actors, these production designers will bring their own style, will bring their own art to the project to make it what it is. It's kind of like, it's like a fashion house in a sense. And, it's kind of like the person who is at the head of the house, gets the credit for the line, but it's because they're able to bring these other artists in. It's I don't know. It's kind of
like it's like a Kanye album in that way. I know this is kind of weird, but Kanye, he loves employing other artists, which suits like the album that he's making. Like he has tons of features and stuff on his album, but they add to it. Kanye still gets the credit for the album and for making as the artist, but he has so many other artists on his album that just bounce off of him.
And like Kanye also, I remember like Hit Boy, who's one of his producers that you're talking about, said to Hit Boy that you're making a movie when you're making an album. So that collaborative spirit should be alive. I'm still trying to understand what he meant by Western concepts of originality are at odds.
Think on
it's
that.
Interesting.
Think on that for a second, because I want to just kind of get to the end of the chats. So Bryce is definitely bringing up a lot of good points. He's saying too many filmmakers mistake templates of shot reverse shot coverage for enough. True, it gets really boring. So many DPs just collect cool shots for the reel. Also true. I told Keaton before we shot Wasted Hours that I don't want any of the shots to feel like they're Vimeo shots, if you know what I mean. And he says, and Deakins himself said, show me a reel where you can create a feeling, not a cool look. Yeah, and here's the way that I look at films is, above all, they should make you feel something. There are films where I like to be intellectually stimulated, but films should move you on an emotional level. But it's hard for films to move me on an emotional level, because once you see enough, you start to see how things can be cheesy. I was not moved at Avengers Endgame, needless to say. I felt nothing the whole film.
Whoa! You're such a boomer! You're such a boomer! Look at this boomer! Oh, boomer!
Wow, way to be a white male.
Why are you a stupid cis boomer?
Yeah, no, and
the only feeling that I got from watching 17 though was tired though, and I mean, if that's the point of the film, then I mean, good, but just responding to that.
And Bryce, I do know about his cinematography form. We actually use that form as a resource when making my film. And he does respond. Roger Deakins does respond quite frequently to people that post on the forum. So it's a good site. He has really good stuff there. I really like Roger Deakins. There's a lot of stuff that Roger Deakins has done that people don't really know. Like, he's basically invented color grading with Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I think that was the first color graded film because he couldn't achieve the look that he wanted in camera, so he turned to computers to change the colors.
Really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So, I love a lot of his work. All of his Coen Brothers stuff just always looks incredible. It always looks incredible. My favorite, though, of his films, as far as cinematography goes, is probably The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
I would have thought you would have said Thin Red Line. Since that, you'll have Terrence Malick.
Did he DP Thin Red Line?
Yeah.
I think so. I know he did Oh Brother, Where Art Thou and No Country films. I'm
very sure he did. I'm very sure he did Thin Red Line.
I got his IMDb pulled up right now. He did Doubt, which is another incredible film. Got all kinds of cuts in it. So
no, that wasn't Roger Deakins. That was John Toll.
No, he did Doubt. He was DP.
No, the DP of the Thin Red Line was John Toll, who also.
Oh, my bad. I wasn't responding to that.
I swear, I thought
he also did Braveheart and
The Big Lebowski. He did Fargo. Wow.
Yeah, no, he did a lot of the Coen Brothers movies. Although you know who the first cinematographer for the Coen Brothers was Barry Sonnenfeld.
Yeah, I saw that. I have a Blood Simple on Criterion, so I got to see the commentary track of that. That was good.
Yeah, the director of Men in Black. Yeah. But anyways, hey, let's get to the Adam Sandler stuff. That's what people came here for. We got enough people here.
They don't want all this.
They don't want this artsy shit. Get that off.
Exactly.
We're gonna be talking about Sandler.
Yeah, if you're listening, Roger,
get your beer, turn on some sports, ESPN, and have a Sandler movie playing in the background.
Roger Deakins should do a Adam Sandler movie. That's the DP.
Emmanuel Lubezki. Imagine Blended, shot by Emmanuel Lubezki. Now, I watched Blended, and I watched a murder mystery. And, okay, so before we get...
I got one better for you. I auditioned for Blended, believe it or not.
Because they shot that in Georgia.
Yeah, they shot in Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, anyways.
Even though it was in Africa for most of it.
Oh, well, yeah, that was just...
Oh, Blended was in Africa?
It takes place in Africa. I watched it on the plane. But anyways...
I watched it because my parents are fans of Adam Sandler movies.
So here's the funny thing about Adam Sandler. Like, no, this is like a legit funny thing. He's box office gold. For as much as people rag on him, his movies make money. And look at the budgets of his films. Like, $90 million for, like... Grown Ups 2 is like $100 million movie or something like that, or $80 million. It's some kind of crazy amount, some kind of crazy budget. And you're thinking, gosh, for a movie like Grown Ups 2, which has legit like you could honestly make that for under $1 million. Like what happens in Grown Ups 2 that necessitates this humongous budget? And it's like nothing does. And
they just spend it. They spend it on things.
They just give it to themselves. Like, so what happens is he and his friends make bank from making these movies, and the movies are like they take place in resorts, and that started with 50 First Dates, when Sandler was initially like he was gonna have it take place somewhere like normal, and I guess it was one of his producers or something. I could be getting the story incorrect. But one of the producers or writers or something like that was like, why not have it take place in Hawaii? So you get to go to Hawaii for the shoot. And Sandler was like, yeah, that sounds great. And then the movie took off and it was a box office hit. And really, if you look at his earnings, his movies almost always make money. And they almost always make very good money. And there's a reason why Netflix gave him a 6-movie deal. And now they just gave him another 4-movie deal. Because his movies are also some of the most watched films on Netflix. And
he was doing the Blumhouse thing before Blumhouse did the Blumhouse thing.
Yeah. And his movies just, like, they're kind of all over the place. It's funny. His movies are all over the place in a sense, but they're also all the same.
Yeah.
It's like, it's all the same kind of humor.
It's controlled chaos.
Yeah. Kind of like Blumhouse in a way, where it's like you can watch a film and you're like, oh, this is a Blumhouse movie. There's all these like trappings of it. Oh, the cinematography is Blumhouse.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Invisible Man or whatever. It's like obviously a Blumhouse film. You're like, oh, this is so Blumhouse. And with Adam Sandler
everything
films,
in
that's so
Sandler movies,
Blumhouse.
Everything is overlit. So that's how you know that it's an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah,
but see, Adam Sandler is an incredible actor. Like,
he's a great actor. That's the funny thing. He's a great actor that makes shitty movies.
I mean, I watched Uncut Gems finally, and I mean, he was awesome. Like, he was really good. I mean,
yeah, no, he was great in Uncut Gems.
I mean, Punch Drunk Love is like one of my favorite movies of all time. I was
watching Punch Drunk Love the other day. While I was running, because I like to watch Kino while I work out. So I got my
Get a scoop of protein powder, man. Hit the weights. Turn on some Sandler.
Yeah,
there you go, man.
I got the Criterion Blu-ray of Punch Drunk Love. So I just popped that sucker in, and I'm like lifting weights, while watching him destroy a bathroom.
And no one ever talks about it. Click is an incredible movie. Like, Click is something that is timeless and will age like wine.
Shut up!
I wasn't kidding about that.
Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Are you threatening me, Dick?
I want to see Adam Sandler do It's a Wonderful Life. That would be great. I want to.
Oh man, dude, that might actually happen. Like, now that you're spoken in distance.
Wait, what did Evan say?
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. Dude, Christopher Walken would be the angel.
Would be Mr. Potter.
No, Christopher Walken would be the angel that gets his wings.
Exactly.
What's his name? Clarence. He would be Clarence. It'd be Christopher Walken.
Who would be Mr. Potter then?
Mr. Potter would probably
Terry
be
Crews.
No.
Yes.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you. You need to give me that money.
And then he just has like an old wig. You know?
Yeah,
He
he just has like an old gray wig.
Man,
You need to give me that
they
money.
really should remake It's a Wonderful Life, but put someone like Willem Dafoe or like a really
No.
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore, Adam Sandler,
yes.
Christopher Walken as Clarence.
It's a Jewish life.
Yeah, they have a menorah. Yeah, they're all standing by the menorah at the end.
Yeah, it's at Passover instead of Christmas.
I'd love that. Honestly, my favorite scene in Uncut Gems is the Passover scene. By the way,
that's a really good scene. The whole sequence of showing all the family dynamic that was so good.
Oh, that was great. That was Kino.
I
didn't like the ending to Uncut Gems, but I loved Uncut Gems as a whole.
Don't spoil it for me. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
a loser. So
I'd go watch it. I'd still go watch it.
All right, so here's another film I think could definitely benefit from Sandler starring in it. And not
Sandler should do
now,
comedy.
When we say Sandler starring in it, we mean Happy Madison Productions. We mean
exactly.
Take away these artistic directors, take away these pretentious hacks, and put in somebody that Sandler trusts to make a product that will sell millions upon millions of dollars. All right? So
Michael Bay.
The Master, starring Adam Sandler as it would be Adam Sandler, and it would be Paul Blart, Kevin James. Kevin James would be Lancaster Dodd, and and Adam Sandler would be Freddie. What's his name? Freddie Quell.
Yeah, Freddie Quell.
I can just imagine the opening lines where he's like, you know how my mama said to get crabs out, you gotta shave half your pubes, and then you gotta take an ice pick. You gotta fucking do it.
Remake No Country for Old Men or Drive.
No Country for Old Men, where Adam Sandler is Drive. David Spade is Oscar Isaac's character.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. Who would be Albert Brooks?
Any woman would be Drew Barrymore. Like just any woman.
Yeah, any woman is
Drew Barrymore.
That's going to be Carey Mulligan is Drew Barrymore. Albert Brooks.
Chris Walken would have been really good in that role.
Chris Walken would have been good for Albert Brooks.
Bryan Cranston's?
No, I think Albert Brooks is I think Albert Brooks would definitely translate to Christopher Walken.
Al Pacino would play
what? Al Pacino
Bryan Cranston's character.
Yeah, Al Pacino
was in Jack and Jill.
Yeah, so he was
in the Happy Madison film.
No, but this means he's in the canon. He's not in the canon.
No, but he is.
Madison canon.
But he falls in love with Jill. You know, Jack and Jill is a seriously underrated gem. You really think about it. You know, when I watch that film, that's like comfort food for me, because when Jill is on screen, I'm like, how can a woman be this beautiful? And I realize it's because it's a man.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Jack and Jill. You know, I think it's Kino to like Jack and Jill, because you got Nostalgia Critic and all these other people, you know, they get on there. Oh, Jack and Jill's worst movie of all time. I think it's a Kino take to say Jack and Jill is one of the best films of the 2010s.
Well,
yeah.
So here's another here's a series of films. Now I think we can talk about for a long time. Is what if the whole Star Wars canon was Happy Madison, right?
That'd be pretty good.
I think Christopher Walken would be Darth Vader. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah. Wait, hold on, but hear me out. Darth Vader is black. So Terry Crews.
Terry Crews. And I think
hold on. We haven't even talked about Chris Rock yet.
No, what I was gonna say is no. Here's a joke that would definitely do in there. Chris Rock would be Sidious, and Chris Rock would be like, "Damn, why are they always calling us the dark side?"
Just for that one joke.
Exactly.
I didn't know Dean Cundy shot Jack and Jill. That is, wow. That's the guy who did Halloween.
Oh wow. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Or
and
risen.
did Roger Rabbit and Back to the
Wait, hold
Future
on.
and Jurassic
Hold on.
Park and Apollo freaking 13.
Yeah, but who cares? He did Jack and Jill.
Pete, did
Yeah.
you say that? What was his fucking name? Noah Baumbach. Didn't he write one of the fucking Sandler films or something? Like, remember you sent me something?
No,
it was
it
like
was-
Noah Baumbach wrote like some fucking weird ass.
Oh,
No,
He
that
did
was
write-
Madagascar 3. Yeah.
Wait, Noah Baumbach wrote
Madagascar 3. Or he was a writer on it.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. I looked it
Oh
up.
my god.
Okay, so
And I was like,
Bryce.
this can't be real.
So Bryce says, real talk, what roles has Sandler done that aren't a seething and repressed angry man out of touch, out on a mission, punch drunk and uncut? I'm such a noob for knowing his filmography. You know what? That's the kind of roles that I like. That's why I put up in my poll Taxi Driver. Adam Sandler as Travis Bickle actually might be Kino.
Yeah, I mean.
You talking to me? You talking to me? You would do
But
that
instead
stuttering.
of working out, he's just like on a treadmill and like eating Cheetos, watching like Rachel Maddow or something.
No, but also he could work. No, this is a thought I had earlier today. Is his character from Waterboy as Norman Bates?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Oh.
Mama said that. I'm always.
I could see Adam Sandler playing Norman Bates.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing about Adam Sandler is that he's a good actor, and actually, I can imagine him in a lot of these roles in like a good capacity. What we're trying to do is say this is Adam. We like remaking these movies where he's not trying, like Uncut Gems or
right.
like. And actually, with Uncut Gems, I don't think he's a repressed or angry man. I think that he's an addict. He's a gambling addict, and he acts like an addict. But I don't think he's that repressed. I don't think he's that angry.
No, I don't think he's an angry person at all. He's a family man who's just
'Cause
loves money. Like
He's just greedy. He's just
he just loves money.
Jew. He's just a Jew. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I'm not touching that one.
Yeah, Evan can. He's living in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I can say it whenever I want to have the power.
Yeah.
He has the
Well,
power.
I
You don't.
in fact, Uncut Gems like is it's not even really about like people. It's more about just like the processes of life that take over Adam Sandler's characters.
Yeah, it's
You
about
know,
the craziness.
like pathologies.
Yeah, and so one of the funny things like about Adam Sandler is that his characters in his bad movies aren't too far off from the characters in his good movies.
I mean, like
Myra
Flick and
was
Punch Drunk Love. It's kind of similar. Not gonna lie.
well.
You know?
No, but like even like Meyerowitz stories, he plays a similar kind of character that he plays in his other stuff. And Punch Drunk Love, actually, I think PTA even said that he was making an Adam Sandler movie, but like a PTA version of an Adam Sandler film. You know what I mean? So he was taking this sort of he was kind of he was making maybe a bit more of a realistic take on Sandler's character, or he was taking like this sort of trope that Sandler. By that time, the kind of archetype that Sandler had created for himself.
Yeah,
he was
like
taking that.
Wedding Singer.
Yeah, he was taking that archetype and putting it into his own film. And Punch Drunk Love is so good, and it does a similar thing to Uncut Gems, where like at the beginning, where it's like all his sisters are calling him, and the music is really getting at you, and you're feeling really stressed out, and you're like, you kind of want to like blow up like he does. Everything is kind of going wrong. Yeah, I really.
Yeah, when he's in like the shop, like the mechanic shop or whatever.
Yeah.
Wherever the location was, I kind of forgot. I haven't seen Punch Drunk Love in a while. It's been.
Are you talking about the
been 5
mattress
minutes.
shop?
The mattress shop near the end, right?
No, I'm talking about.
Are you talking about his work? Like
Yeah,
that's
his
where he
work.
works.
Yeah, like the mechanic store or whatever. Wasn't it like a?
Well, he works like
thinking of-
he works like in like a garage type of thing.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying.
he sells plungers.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, so he's
Right,
it's not
yeah.
like a mechanic
Mhm.
shop, but he's kind of he's working next to one, and that's what starts off his relationship with Emily Watson.
It's kind of
Yes.
weird whenever you like watch an Adam Sandler film, you almost feel like you're watching a film about family.
Yeah,
You know?
and they all kind of come down to that. But
Right, but it's like a vague sense of what a family is. It doesn't say anything about families. It's just it's about family. Like, just be nice
Definitely.
to your family, stick with your family. It's vague. It doesn't have like something it specifically wants to say. It just wants to touch on the broad idea of family.
Well, I meant that like when you see Adam Sandler's face on screen, like there's an aura that comes out. I'm watching a movie about family, and I'm watching a family movie. Like it's
Oh, I see.
yeah.
You mean in that sense? I mean, most of his movies do touch on that subject, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It's kind of like when you see Joe Pesci. It's like, oh, I'm watching a gangster movie. Like even Home Alone. Like, oh, this is a gangster movie. This isn't. Yeah.
Well,
But
anyways,
speaking of that, I would like to see Adam Sandler and the whole crew do Goodfellas. That's what I want to see. I want to see.
you know, when
I want to see Sandler fellas.
you know what I think? I think that The Irishman sucked because it wasn't a Happy Madison film.
Exactly. That's
Damn.
what they were missing. That's
Damn.
what they were missing.
Al Pacino could have stayed as Hoffa. Like, that's the one person who could have stayed. But definitely Adam Sandler should have been the Irishman, despite not being Irish at all.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci should have been
Kevin James.
Kevin
I say
James.
Yeah.
David Spade, had to be in there in some way. They had to get up. They had to get up to hijinks too. You think about it, like you can't have them killing each other. You gotta have.
I
them-
can't-
They
They
have
gotta
to
be.
be throwing shit at each other, or like
I
They
can't
gotta be
rewatch.
goofing on. They have to
Yeah,
goof
they have to
off
be-
on each other.
Yeah, I can't
Exactly,
rewatch The Irishman because there's no funny moments like anywhere film. Like it's just such a soul crushing film.
It
they
would
gotta
have.
be like doing fart jokes and stuff. They gotta be like farting. And
You know-
like, oh, who did this thing?
Oh, Dana
You know.
Carvey. How are we missing out on Dana Carvey?
Because he's
Wait, how many movies was he in?
Dana
Oh,
Carvey
wow.
was in some
in
Sandler
a-
films. He was in The Master of Disguise. That's Kino.
Ooh.
Master of Disguise is Kino. You hear that, nostalgia critic? We're coming for you.
No, but
Gonna burst down his fucking door.
you
Dude,
reminded
Dana
me of
Carvey
that.
is like one of the greatest comedians of our time. Like for real.
Well, this is how.
Like the church lady is timeless. Like you can't like that is Kino.
That
If
is
any of you
pretty good.
youngins watching this haven't seen the church lady yet from SNL, like you need to go watch that.
No, but here's
after
what
this.
here's what I wanted to get to. So the Irishman, in the movie, it's like it's Robert De Niro talking to these investigators, right? It's when he's old. Really, the way that Scorsese should have done it, and Scorsese would have made his money back if he did it this way too, is instead of having some old dude that nobody knows about like Robert De Niro, it should have been Adam Sandler, and the frame of it should have been Adam Sandler doing a stand-up about his time working for the mafia and all these like crazy hijinks he got into. Like, I mean, didn't you guys see what was that movie called that he did for Netflix? The
Joker.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
no,
Yeah, I watched I watched a comedy routine. I can't remember what it's called, but it was really good.
It was like Rotten or something. Like it was based off of like Rotten Tomatoes.
No, what
Like
was
the name was?
No,
but-
it was
but
it was
what-
the Adam Sandler Netflix special. What was it called?
I'm looking for this movie that he was in a couple years ago that was like that was The Do-Over. It was like an action film, The Do-Over. It was Adam Sandler
Oh.
and David Spade as action stars. And see, that's really Adam Sandler and David Spade, and that's gonna get me to The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse.
Oh no!
Or-
You told me about this beforehand.
No,
The
but
Lighthouse.
actually,
Making the Lighthouse.
no, but actually, it wouldn't be. I don't think it would be David Spade. I could see David Spade, but I think that since
Chris Rock. Chris Rock would be.
no, I got even better one. It's got to be Adam Sandler, right? Who's coming
Ben Stiller.
who's coming to work, but Rob Schneider has to be Willem Dafoe's character.
Oh, I forgot
because
about Rob Schneider. How could I?
because
forgot?
Willem Dafoe transforms into other characters like Poseidon and stuff like that, in the film. So wouldn't it be great if Rob Schneider played both the mermaid and as Thomas Wake? Like,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
I could
that's
see
kind
this.
of that's kind of his thing. He always plays as like a lot of different characters, and you've got Adam Sandler and playing the exact same role. I mean, and you think about it too, right? Robert Pattinson, his character's kind of repressed. He's kind of angry. You know, he's kind of got something out for the world. That's Adam Sandler. That's one of his characters.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it sounds
in
like
there.
you're pitching. This sounds like a Funny or Die sketch. like they're actually going to take this and do this.
Pop him in there. Have
Yeah.
Rob Schneider do the most like over the top sort of old sailor persona that he can.
I don't even know. I don't think he could do a different voice besides like the normal one he does, or like a fucking Mexican dude. I think those are the only two voices he can do.
Now here
So
here is another option. All right. So how I would do this if I was a studio exec, I'd give the people what they want. I would shoot a version of each of these options and let people decide. Right. So I would do Rob Schneider and Adam Sandler pair up. Right. Because
okay.
people love Rob Schneider. All right. People love him. Everyone watched this TV show that was on Netflix and loved it. Everyone watched
Wait,
it.
what? What are you talking about?
And people love David Spade. Joe Dirt. Come on, Joe Dirt 2 was a huge success. All right,
Wait,
you
hold
gotta
on,
put
hold on.
David Spade.
You mentioned
Well,
a
you know
Rob
what-
Schneider TV show on Netflix. What are you talking about?
It's
When
called,
they make-
it's called Rob.
When they make Tiger
There's
King
a Rob
into
Schneider show.
Yeah, there's a Rob Schneider show on Netflix. Now here's the third.
when they make Tiger
No,
King
let's-
into
let's-
a movie, they're gonna use David Spade as Joe Exotic.
Yeah,
hands down.
See, that actually would work. But I want to get to my third. Here's the third option for The Lighthouse done as a Happy Madison production. Now, this, I think, is the most experimental, and you're going to have lots of video essays on YouTube talking about this. Is that, and this is, and I'm going to use very, I'm going to use very academic terminology here, so this might go over a lot of people's heads. So just be warned. You have to Jack and Jill it. Meaning that Adam Sandler plays as both of these characters, right? And Adam Sandler just wears a fat suit or something when he's Thomas Wake. And that's how you know that he's not the other guy.
I would love to
Yeah.
see like
gonna-
Adam Sandler do that ending
Now,
where you scream. That would
see,
be
and some of the best movies have had actors playing as several characters, like Jack and Jill or Norbit or the Nutty Professor.
Norbit.
So I never actually got to mention this. I kind of forgot. So I think Adam Sandler, right? I think
Norbit.
he should.
You brought that back.
think he
I
should.
forgot about that movie.
I think he should remake the Polar Express. Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler should be half the characters
Instead
in the
of-
Polar Express.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that's my plan. And don't change the animation at all. Just have Adam Sandler overdub.
Adam Sandler playing Santa Claus at the end of.
Yeah,
Hey, boy, you got your bell.
And then he's the conductor, and he's. I can't do it. I have a terrible Adam Sandler impression. Someone else
Yeah.
do it. I can't.
That'd be a Kino moment for sure.
no, that would
That
definitely
would
be Kino.
be.
I would
And
watch.
Adam
I
Sandler
would
plays a
watch
little
that.
boy.
Yeah, exactly.
He plays a little boy. He plays both the conductors on the train.
Isn't that kind of like Eight Crazy Nights, his Hanukkah movie?
Kind of. Yeah, except it's for Christmas. Or they could just change it to
It's the Hanukkah
The Hanukkah.
Express.
yeah, Hanukkah.
Hanukkah Express.
we
Mazel tov.
could go very dark with this joke, but I'm gonna end it right here.
Yeah, let's not.
Oh my god. Well, that's all the time we got here today, boys.
But
Demonetized.
No, this stream is definitely not going to get monetized. I don't really care.
Definitely not.
Yeah, I don't really care. Yeah, no. As far as like other movies, I'm trying to think of like big sort of. I mean, because I don't know. It wouldn't necessarily work for like classic Hollywood movies, like putting Adam Sandler in there and stuff. Like, I honestly though could have seen Adam Sandler as Joker, Todd Howard's Joker. That
That
could have been Kino, actually. Adam Sandler.
Oh, if he was trying, sure.
If he was trying, yeah.
That would have made that film so much different, though.
Yeah, it would have, but I think it would be interesting. But
It would have
think
been a film about comedy rather than like mental illness. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, that came to my mind. I was like, that would have been a different film.
Yeah, it would have been more like the camp comedy, probably.
Uh-huh.
probably would have had more to do with that. But I was gonna say, but I think that Joaquin, because I know Todd Phillips says that he wrote how Joker performed with Joaquin in mind. I don't really buy it, but what I do buy is that when he chose Joaquin after he wrote the script, I think that like that was a very deliberate decision, because Joaquin, he kind of, not that he has the build for it, but I think that he definitely could convey that in a way that I don't think a lot of other actors could, like in the way he wrote it.
Just look at like
other actors have done Joker before, but it's just that how they write Joker is different from how Todd Phillips wrote Joker. Because you can't really compare Joker from Dark Knight, Heath Ledger Joker. You can't compare that to Joaquin's, because it's like comparing apples and oranges, really.
Yeah, it's a very different.
Yeah, but Adam Sandler is the Joker.
Getting back to it, or better yet, Adam Sandler is Frank from Blue Velvet.
Oh my God! KinoKast 1.5.
KinoKast 1.5.
Go listen now.
Adam Sandler is Frank from Blue Velvet. David Spade as Jeffrey. Drew Barrymore as Lord.
Oh, easily. Easily. They could totally make that. And David Lynch is still the
director.
Yeah.
But
you gotta replace him. You can't have David Lynch as the director. Yeah. That's too artsy. You gotta replace him.
No, David Lynch is trying to get a paycheck because his Crazy Clown Time album didn't sell enough.
Yeah,
he's got a master's in fine arts graduate program you can take at Maharishi University. I was actually trying to send off an application just because the other day. I was like, why not? Let's see where this goes.
Oh, imagine Twin Peaks as a Happy Madison.
I was going to do that. I was going to say that.
That would be so good. That would be so good. Rob Schneider as the sheriff.
Hold on. There's too many women, though.
Oh, yeah.
There's too many women.
So Adam Sandler would play Audrey Horne.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Wait, who? Okay,
Drew Barrymore definitely has to be Norma, though. She's definitely Norma.
Yeah. Wait a sec. I'm looking something up.
Nadine would have to be Adam Sandler, though, because Big Ed would be like Terry Crews. Big Ed would be Terry Crews.
So, what's your favorite Happy Madison film?
You're talking to me?
Yeah, you.
All right. Man, so many winners. I don't know.
I'll be back in a second, guys.
I
just got to turn my AC down a little bit.
You're fine. We're just talking about stuff.
I'd probably say Jack and Jill. That's probably my favorite.
Jack and Jill. I would probably either say, or I don't know, man. There's so many that are. Probably Master of Disguise.
It's really bad. Like, Jack and Jill is really bad, but I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Not intentionally, but I think it's
I got you.
But if I'm saying like which movie that Happy Madison made would I actually like appreciate for how they made it, or not how they made it, but appreciate as like an actual movie, because I don't know. Never mind. I need to phrase this. How would I appreciate a real movie, like as a Happy Madison movie? Like I'd probably say maybe Wedding Singer, maybe? I don't know.
Wedding Singer? Okay. Very cool.
I mean, it's not like bad. It's not good either, but it's not horrible. It's all right.
Okay.
I would definitely say The Water Boy, because there's just way too many good lines in there. Like my mom always said that the gators are so angry all the time because they got all them big teeth and no toothbrush to brush them. I'm like, that is writing. That's Kino writing. If I ever watch a script and if I'm looking at the script and I see stuff like that, I'm like, this is a great movie. Or the scene where she's like, where the girl is like, I fixed up your lawnmower for you, and then it cuts to him zipping down the Louisiana road in that souped up lawnmower. I'm like, yes, this is Louisiana. This is I mean, come on. I practically grew up
I'm not
right
even
outside.
gonna lie. That movie is really nostalgic to me. Like I used to watch that movie on repeat, like on car trips or whatever.
It's
You used to have like this DVD player in the car, and
it's
I would always bring
nostalgic
the
to me
Water
as
Boy.
well. Yeah,
So
I mean,
I have another question. What do you think is next in Adam Sandler's career?
the worst
50 more
film,
movies.
the worst film that he will ever make because he wasn't nominated. And he said,
Oh yeah, he said that he'll make the worst film ever
yeah.
since he wasn't nominated for
I
it
didn't
either.
know that. Okay.
Yeah, that's what he said on Twitter.
So I'm really excited to watch it.
Yeah, it's gonna be really good.
Consider me hyped.
It's gonna be a Kino year, 2020.
2020. Well, that's if there's any Kino that comes out this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, is there anything Kino coming out? Sure.
No, well, no,
Dune is.
Well,
Dune.
the French Dispatch. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I just
Dispatch.
I just pre-ordered my Criterion edition of the Grand Budapest Hotel. That's coming.
That's such a good movie.
That's coming in 2 weeks. Yeah, that's released. That's dropping in just a couple weeks.
Oh yeah, you have all of the Wes Anderson Criterions, which I do not.
I do.
I'm envious.
I was
Actually,
working
don't really know if
I was working in movie theaters by the time Grand Budapest came out, and you'd see people go to that movie, and then you'd see them come out, and then their eyes would just be glowing, like their lives have just been changed. And
It's such a good
like
film.
going back to earlier from our conversation, like I feel like that film was a part of creating this new diaspora of people that like say they enjoy film, but yet they don't really know anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
it's like that's the barista filmmaker is Wes Anderson, you know.
The barista filmmaker.
But it's not. I would say it's not Wes Anderson's fault. Like he doesn't.
No, it isn't. It's not like he's pretentious or anything. It's just that.
Yeah, he's not.
Oh, I didn't say Wes Anderson's not an excellent filmmaker. I'm just saying like that was one of the pangs.
He
of
definitely.
this.
Well, yeah, and so the thing about Wes Anderson is that there are like two types of people, or maybe there's three types of people that watch Wes Anderson films, and there's obviously. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's
You're
three.
just cutting out a bit.
Oh, okay, so I would say that there's like three types of people that watch Wes Anderson's films generally. There's those that think that they're too weird, because there's definitely a lot of people that watch one of his films and are like, that's kind of weird. There's the people that really get won over by the sort of pop elements of it. Sorry, I'm trying to cool down my computer right now. There's people.
You're good.
There's people who get really like the pop elements of it. So it's all the people who are like, oh my gosh, his shots are so symmetrical. They're like the colors,
One take.
the pastels.
Gotta get my soy injection.
and then there's the people like me, the people that transcend all that. Understand where we understand his influences and understand why, and I don't, honestly, the whole, symmetry thing isn't as prevalent in his films as a lot of people think. He just is good at composing shots, and people really pick up on the symmetrical shots, but there's plenty of asymmetrical shots, and people think, oh my god, everything is so, and this is one of the reasons that I made that video about Moonrise Kingdom, is to show how much he's not like what people think he is. He's very much.
Everyone thinks that everything is premeditated with him.
No, it's not.
He sits there, just writing down these elaborate ideas for shots. He's like, oh, I'm gonna make a dollhouse for everything. It's all gonna be a dollhouse. Oh, I'm so symmetrical.
And if you watch him on set, like on the Life Aquatic, he's like, hey, why don't we do this next shot like documentary style? So just pick up the camera and just shoot it handheld. And Bob Yeoman's like, yeah, okay, that sounds cool. And then, the thing is that he has an overarching vision for his movies, but it doesn't mean he's a dictator, and it doesn't mean he is this kind of person that these hipsters think he is.
Mm-hmm. There's always a disconnection between, how people see artists and how artists actually are.
Yeah, and I would say that Wes Anderson's very much like that. And Wes Anderson, his whole influences really come a lot from French film in the 60s. He's definitely sort of a French New Wave style filmmaker. And that's why the French Dispatch is just, I was not surprised when he was making a movie about France and about in the style of, French New Wave filmmaking doesn't surprise me one bit, because he's been making films in that style for as long as he's been a filmmaker. So that's the thing with Wes Anderson. Grand Budapest Hotel was more in the style, though, of like Ernst Lubitsch. And there were some sort of I would say the French New Wave bits were kind of like in the 60s. It was shot that, anamorphic look. And, but the stuff that happens in 1939, I think it's 1939 is when it takes place. I've seen the film 30 times or something like that. I mean, but
Oh my god.
I've seen it a lot. Actually, on one of my birthdays, I made the pastries from the film. The things that they make in the movie. Because on the Blu-ray of it, it actually comes with a recipe to how to make them. So I made them, for my birthday. They tasted really good, and but that was done more in an Ernst Lubitsch style, like classic Hollywood. But classic Hollywood mixed with Wes Anderson's own aesthetics, which is what made it feel very, very unique. And that year was just a great year for film. I mean, it was Birdman that year, Boyhood, The Grand Budapest Hotel. There are so many good films in 2014.
I think
2014 was one of the best years for film.
That was a lit year.
It Follows.
Ever.
Was in that year, I'm pretty sure. Am I correct?
No.
Yes.
It Follows.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 2014, wasn't it?
No, It Follows was after that.
Was it?
Hold on.
Or it might be 2015.
It Follows
maybe.
was 2015 because it came out...
No, 2014. I just looked it up right now.
But yeah, man, we had Gone Girl that year.
Wait.
We had the Lego movie, Kino.
No, I don't think It Follows was 2014. I'm looking this up
Hold on.
because I know this because I have a... So it says 2014. But
No, it's 2015. It Follows.
But look at when it actually released.
Was it 2014?
It released at the Cannes Film Festival in 2014, but it didn't release in the States.
Oh, until March 27th, 2015.
Yeah, and I know that because I was at Sundance early 2015, and I was trying to see It Follows.
Let's see.
Yeah, because it was...
This is a really nice poster, actually. I like this poster.
For It
Why didn't they
Follows?
just use... Yeah, hold on. Not like the blue one. Not the blue one, but the this one. Hold on.
And then you had
I don't know why
Boyhood.
They should have
You
used
had
this
the
as
Lego
original
movie.
poster.
22 Jump Street, Kino.
That's pretty good.
Wait, let me...
I posted it in chat. This is the
let me...
poster that was...
Selma. That was shot down here in South Alabama.
Wait, was Inside Llewyn Davis 2014?
Oh, man, was it?
Don't think so.
Nightcrawler.
I think
What a
that
great
was
year for
2011.
movies.
I think that was
Notice how we didn't bring up Interstellar.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm pretty sure it was in 2013 anyway.
And The Interview, The Babadook. That was a big...
Oh, I remember the whole thing with The Interview.
I remember that too, even though that was
That's a throwback.
I was 8 when
John-
that whole thing went down, but I do remember it. So
Here's the
that
It
was
Follows poster. You guys can see it. It's a cool poster.
it is a very cool poster.
Yeah.
That's much better than the one they used. But maybe that's
Which
just
one?
because that's less marketable than
a
retro poster.
The thing about It Follows that I really liked was that it brought color back to horror.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of horror is kind of gray. But yeah, we're kind of getting a little bit sidetracked. I'd say let's give ourselves 10 minutes to sort of wind down.
Yeah, right.
And take some questions from chat. And so Bryce says, I worked at a movie theater when trailers for Mad Max Fury Road were in, and then I'm trying to read it. I worked at a movie theater when trailers for Mad Max Fury Road were in trailers, and then quite when it came out, and went to a competitor cinema. All right, so with Mad Max Fury Road, I was thinking about doing a video on it. Now I'm thinking of... Oh, you quit. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm thinking about doing a video on Mad Max Fury Road, but it would be very different from my normal videos. So if I'm gonna be like completely honest with all the 9 people who are here, and I think one of those one of those 9 people is me. The video essay format, I don't actually like watch video essays. I make video essays because it's something that I can do pretty much while I was traveling, and then now while I'm in lockdown, I can't go out and shoot my own stuff. But I'm looking to, and I've been talking with, obviously with Andrew here, and with Cumby, and with Turkey Tom, and some other big YouTubers. I'm talking about rebranding the Kino Corner to not be doing video essays. Now, my video essays aren't exactly like standard video essays. It's more like filmmaking stuff. It's kind of like short documentaries about like how a film was made with a bit of analysis in there. And, because I don't really like video essays because it's always a lot of bullshit. It's a person spinning their own opinion on things. And, yeah, absolute kinography. You need to get Turkey Tom on a KinoKast. You know what? He tells me all the time that he wants to come on to the KinoKast. And then
you should have pinged him.
Yeah, I should have pinged him beforehand. He'll be on the next one. I'll talk to him next time because
he's not even online right now anyway. I don't think.
No, he's invisible. He's online all the time. He's just invisible. Because I know that. I know that because even when it says he's not online, like he still texts me. So.
Yeah. I just don't think that he wants everyone pinging him all the time.
Yeah, anyway, well, he doesn't want anyone pinging him. If you go to the server, Evan and I are moderators.
Yes.
You can't. Number one rule: do not ping Turkey Tom.
I made that. I made the rules.
Don't even ping me either.
But no, but I'm thinking of
created the rules.
I'm thinking about rebranding my channel to where I do more like true documentary style stuff. And so one of my friends was his dad was the stunt coordinator for Mad Max Fury Road, and he and his brothers were the War Boys. And he was on the poles near the end, and so I wanted to. He's up in Atlanta, and I stayed with him last summer while I was visiting Atlanta. And so I wanted to do like these kind of videos once lockdowns end and once I can sort of get out, go places, where I go to filmmakers, people who work on film, and I shoot stuff where I hang out with them. I talk about the movies that they like, the stuff that they worked on. Because my friend Harrison here, he also did the stunts to the new Suicide Squad movie coming out. He has a really cool business where they do mocap stunts. It's really neat. He does this, and he is a VR game developer as well.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's up in Atlanta. He's from Australia though. But yeah, so I was thinking about doing a video with him. He's super cool, one of the nicest guys. And then also just sort of using the context that I have to hit up people. Like I used to work at Rodriguez's studio to see if maybe I could go follow some people there. Like my buddy who's a production designer there that just made all the props for Avatar 2. It'd be cool just to, and kind of having these things have a sort of formula where it's like, it's almost like a day in the life, of this artist, just to kind of see what their creative process is, because everyone has a different process. Everyone has different like people that they idolize. Everyone has different movies that they love, or books, or paintings, or something like that. It's always interesting just to kind of like, and so I want these like short documentaries, to be half an hour long a piece, to focus on like the artist as a person, and to kind of, because all these video essays and a lot of what you get on YouTube are people sort of idolizing, in a sense, artists, filmmakers, that sort of thing, where they're like putting them up on this weird pedestal
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
they're talking about how David Fincher does this, and talking about how he frames things.
Well,
yeah,
I'm excited to see what you got in the future.
yeah, and I kind of want to do things where
Kino.
it's like if I can get a director or cinematographer, that like if I can get a director or cinematographer or something to to kind of hang out with, I would definitely take the Herzog approach and having conversations with them, not actually being like a journalist, but just sort of following
Not
with
interviews.
not
I mean, you are a filmmaker. You are Pete. Like,
yeah, and
you know
it's
what
like
I mean?
I'm
like
going,
do your thing.
and it's like yeah, it's like I would go there as a filmmaker, not as experienced as they are, obviously, but as a filmmaker who can talk shop with them, who can understand
Yeah,
what they're saying.
I think that sounds awesome. That sounds
Yeah.
like stuff I'd like to help shoot too. If you need any help.
Yeah, so Bryce says just get the BMP-CC, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, gives you Resolve Studio, and you're off to a start. Yeah, actually, so I have a Sony A7S II, which I think is more than fine for this kind of stuff. I mean, for documentary stuff, I honestly really like the Canon series, like the C300, C500, but I don't really have the budget for that right now. Those are a little bit more expensive. The problem with documentary stuff and the Blackmagic cameras is that the Blackmagic batteries don't really last that long. Now, one of my friends, he's Bill Bennett. He's big time in the American Society of Cinematographers. His best friend is the head of Blackmagic. So because of him, I was actually able to play with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K before it was even released. And I like the camera. I like it a lot. But it does have a pretty bad battery life. And when you're doing documentary stuff, battery life is king. Battery life and autofocus. Now, autofocus on the Sony A7S II, or Sony Alpha 7S II, is not super great. But if you can have a person that has like a basic, a basic understanding of how to keep things mostly in focus, and if you're shooting, outside, you typically have. If you're shooting outside, you typically are shooting at a, larger aperture, so like an f/18, f/24 sometimes. So like a lot of things will be in general and focus and stuff like that. I mean, the problems arise when you're shooting in low light. But so Bryce says, I got it with a variety of glass. It's just phenomenal for its price point. But yeah, accessories suck. Batteries monitor. I shot it with a Kodak Cine 50mm glass. Yeah, ISO is a good boon, but Sony is good as well, I've heard. Yeah, I like the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Like, Creston, who's one of the Kino crew, he's been on a few of these. He has the 4K. And I actually tried to buy the 4K when it came out, but they were back ordered like crazy. Like you couldn't get your hands on one of those for the longest time. And then I couldn't get my hands on it for so long, I just sort of forgot about it, if I'm going to be honest, because that's when I bought the A7S II. Otherwise, I have a Ariflex SR2 with that's been modified to shoot Super 16 film instead of 16mm film. And I had an Angina lens, zoom lens from the 60s that I shot some stuff on, but then those lenses were made really shittily, so it ended up breaking. One of the elements fell out, and so I called up a technician, and they were like, "Yeah, it's gonna cost you more to fix it than just to get a new lens." So I was like, "Okay." That's what you get for buying a cheap lens.
Yeah, man. I live and die by Sony, though. I'll tell you that. You can't beat Sony's quality.
And so Bryce says, but then the file format updated later, much like the previous Pocket camera going from .mov to .dmg raw. Yeah, and honestly, I do like Sony. I like the way that the A7S II looks. And I think that for documentary style stuff, like it's also small. And one of the good things about it being small is you can shoot in places that normally would not let you shoot, where they'd be like, "What are you doing?" Like, the bigger the camera, the more attention you're gonna attract to yourself. So if you want to do documentary style stuff, DSLRs, mirrorless cameras, they're great because
Absolutely.
you can
Yeah.
make it look like you're just taking photos. You know, I have some kind of like vlogs on my channel here where they weren't allowing people to like shoot video in certain places, but I was able to get video because they thought I was just taking photos. I just kind of pretended, and yeah. So that's one of the great things about documentary stuff. When you're doing narrative stuff, definitely go for like. I know that there was like this big thing where people were shooting stuff on DSLRs. You know, and people say, well, we're making a feature film and we have a DSLR, we have a Sony a7S II, we have these small cameras. And let me tell you, don't do that. Like, if you're going to shoot a feature film, shoot it the right way. Either get an ARRI Alexa or a Red, or shoot it on film, because you want the film to age, and you want the film to age well. And it's going to age well if you have really good color science behind your sensors. And with these smaller cameras, they don't project as well as like an Alexa does. Like, when you're thinking about you're shooting a movie, you have to think about not how good does it look on the screen, not how good does it look on a computer screen, but how good is it going to look when it's covering an entire wall at the cinema.
Yeah.
So Bryce,
Although I will say, like how people watch movies has kind of changed quite a lot.
it has, but the thing is too is these larger cameras like the Alexa and especially film give you so much more room to work with. Like, there's so much more.
I don't know anything about cameras.
They're
Like, I'm
so much more forgiving, especially with light. You know, film just is like, it reads the light so beautifully, and you don't lose that much information if something is blown out, and you can really work with stuff in post. You can really sort of make it exactly how you want it in post, and that's sort of what you don't have with these cheaper cameras. Is they don't have as much. They don't put out as much color data. They don't put out as much color data. You can't really change them as much in post. So with the smaller cameras, it's more like you get what you get. The larger cameras, you can really mix stuff up. Like Reds, you can change the ISO, you can change the exposure, you can change everything. It like the way that Reds work is actually kind of insane. But yeah, no. As far as film being more expensive, it depends upon how you want to shoot your movie. Sometimes it's not. In our case with Wasted Hours, it was actually cheaper than shooting it digitally. Because if we shot it digitally with an ARRI Alexa, it would have costed a few $1,000s more. But with film, and it costed a little bit less because we shot with film. And also the thing that shooting with film means is you can move a little bit faster. You don't have a DIT, which is a digital image technician. You don't have to have a DIT on set. You don't have to have like with these large digital cameras, there are costs that come with shooting them that aren't the actual camera itself. You know, there's more stuff that you have to do in post-production. There's more people that you have to have on set. With film, you just pop the film in, put the magazine on, and you're ready to go. And since film has an amazing dynamic range, which, I mean, to be fair, so does the Red and so does ARRI Alexa, and that's one of the reasons to use them over a smaller prosumer camera, since film has a great dynamic range. I mean, and I would even say that the way that it renders light is a lot better than Alexa and Reds. The way that it renders skin tones is also a lot better. But you can move a lot faster. And that was the Wonder Woman. In Wonder Woman, they shot that on film. They shot Wonder Woman on film, and the cinematographer said that one of the reasons
why did they shoot that on film though?
Why did they shoot that on film? Well, for one, I mean, film just honestly looks better. Most of the Warner Brothers movies are shot on film.
Right, but isn't it easier to just like shoot in digital? Isn't that more?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily easier. It's actually harder in a lot of cases. It's harder to shoot digitally. If you know what you're doing, it's harder because digital isn't as forgiving with light.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so it's...
But it does have a longer battery life, though. Well,
Well,
not
with, like,
battery
a
life,
red
but it
cam-
does have a longer, like,
No.
shooting time.
Well,
With like a red
sure.
camera, you can literally shoot wrong and
No,
then like
but-
go in
but
and
also-
fix it entirely.
But here's the thing too. You know, when people are like, "Oh, you can with a roll of it." So say you're talking about 35 millimeter, it's like, "Oh, with one roll you can only shoot for 11 minutes." Yeah, but I mean, maybe if you're making a YouTube video shooting yourself, and you know you kind of go on for, I don't know, 40, 50 minutes to cut that down to what, 15. But on an actual movie set, I mean, most stuff that you're doing, it's like less than a minute each time you shoot. You know, you're only shooting for really like a few seconds at a time when you really get down to it. So that doesn't really come into play because hardly ever are people like shooting for over 11 minutes. That doesn't really happen on productions unless the director really doesn't really know what he's doing. And so if you know what you're doing, it's actually easier. And the look that it gives, I think, is just so much better, and it outweighs anything else. But it was somebody that I worked for. He was a cinematographer of like Pulp Fiction and American Psycho. I told you about him, Andre Sekula.
Yeah.
And he told me that he was like, well, he said, you know, all these studios, they embrace digital because they thought it would be cheaper. He says it turns out it's not cheaper. He says every single set I work on, he said I tell them that we might as well shoot on film because it's going to be the exact same price because all the extra stuff they have to do to make these, you know, to make everything look like film. And that's what a lot of these movies that shoot digitally, they color grade it to make it look like film. Anyways, you know, but and he says the price difference is almost negligible at this point. And I think that's why you're seeing more movies shot on film, like The Lighthouse and Uncut Gems were both shot on film. Several other movies this last year were shot on film. Little Women was shot on film. I think you're seeing more.
Yeah, that's definitely a movie that looks like it was shot on film.
Yeah,
it definitely has that.
I think you're seeing more because it was people were thinking that movies are going to be shot digitally from now on. It's cheaper, it's better, blah blah blah. Right? These are the futurists sort of thinkers. But it ended up not being cheaper, and as I kind of point out in my video, like it's still it's you have to buy a lot more hard drives too. Like storage space is a big thing, you know, because you're with film, you get like low res dailies, you know, that don't really take up that much storage space, and you just kind of use a time code to edit everything. So actually the editing goes by a lot faster when you shoot on film. Like editing wasted hours is just so easy because I was dealing with like SD stuff, and then I just got it all transferred to 4K after I was finished editing. And so like it came to this point where the prices sort of evened out. People realized that digital cost really just as much as film, or you know the cost when you're talking about like a $10 million movie doesn't really make a difference. So now film is making a comeback in movies because it's no longer like the cheaper option. Now, and here's a good thing that I like, is that directors and cinematographers are choosing cameras based off of artistic choices rather than based off of this is the cheaper option that the studio is willing to give us. And I think that it's allowing digital cameras to embrace their digitalness in a sense, and it's allowing film cameras to really, like, people who use film to really show off that it's film. Like, I thought Uncut Gems really showed off that it was film. You can really feel the grain in that film. So, 2 more minutes here. I know that I said 10 minutes like 20 minutes ago, but we got on this long tangent, and I felt like people are interested in it. So I just want to end this really quick. So prices, at film school, a production shot 4 days on one particular wide lens, and when they got it back from the labs, 90% were buzzed on focus. Whoops. That can happen if you don't know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, that can happen. Thankfully,
working with film is like an actual art form. Like, there's no perfect way to do it. And you're definitely going to like spend a lot of time preparing before you actually get to the real execution of it. A lot of it is practice.
Yeah,
sure.
I think shooting on film changes the whole dynamic on set. And that's what I really like about it. People take the set a lot more seriously when they know that's money going through the gate.
I know I did.
Yeah, and you were doing some of the focusing too, like in the near dark.
Yeah, we were shooting in a nightclub, and I mean, this scene was another long take, no cap. Yeah. And they were like, "You got to be the one to pull focus," because my DP wouldn't trust his own eyes, and we were like, "Okay." So, but I did it, and I mean, we would rehearse for 3 or 4 hours and be doing prep work around that time before we even said action, roll. Camera, roll our reflex camera, you know. So here's just one last tip for everyone before we leave on how to pull focus. The best way, if you're shooting something that's narrative, to pull focus is a lot of preparation. It's either using the little laser pointer, or which I know a lot of like really professional sets use. They use like a laser pointer to know the exact distance from the lens to the subject. So you can either use that to know the exact distance, or if it's an indie set like us, you just use a tape measure and you do a camera rehearsal of where the camera's going to be, where the subject is going to be, and on the little knob that you turn to pull focus, use like a dry erase marker, and and you just make little notches where you have to move it to, so that you're not thinking about trying to approximate it during the shot. You know exactly where you need to turn it during the shot, and that's how you make sure that you're pretty much always in focus. And it's all about practice, preparation, and communication at the end of the day. Like, are you communicating with the camera op? Does everybody know where they need to be? Are the actors in place? Is the director ready to go? Is everyone, because like you said, once you start rolling, that is the take.
Yeah, and when it's on film, it's on film. You can't delete it. You can't get rid of it. It's there forever. And
start over. There is no starting over. Like, that's the movie right there.
But
in a way, it's kind of
that's the live stream, and we are ending this live stream right now. Hey, thanks everyone for hopping on. Check out, come to our Discord. I might be VCing a little bit later tonight. I don't know. So my next video is going to be on Until the End of the World. It's a Wim Wenders movie. It's 4.5 hours long. I'll be rewatching that tonight. I love it to death. I love Wenders. Paris, Texas, Wings of Desire, Kings of the Road. They're all great. I'm hoping to do a big retrospective on Wenders at some point. Maybe even hitting them up. I want to do another one on Herzog as well, because Herzog, love him. But anyways, so I'll be doing that. But hop onto the Discord. If you go to my latest video, there's a link to my Discord right there.
Also on his Twitter, I'm pretty sure, right? You posted. Yeah. That's like the pinned tweet.
Well, the pinned tweet now is to my video, but you can find it's easy. It's easy to get on my Discord. So go there if you want to chat with us some more. And you guys all have a wonderful night and a happy Easter, and stay safe during this lockdown, and we'll all make it through.
All right. Thanks for having me, Peter.
All right. See you guys.
All right. See ya.
Bye.